Okay, guys, sorry about that. Had a little bit of an audio problem. Thank you everyone once again for joining me. My name is Red Baron, so we're going to start this all over again. I'll tell you what, this is how the next year is going to start. This is not a good start, but we are having a good start as far as the profits are going and that sort of thing. Here, let me give you a second for everybody to kind of file back in the chat, find the new re-upload here. I'm going to kill my mic, same as I always do here. So hold on just a second while I go ahead and rebroadcast this out to social media, and I'll be right back. Hold on just one second. Okay, so moderators, could you do me a favor? Go into the Discord and find the old version of that I posted that had the echo loop and just delete that so we don't have a bunch of confused people wondering why they can't get on. Okay, so moderators, all right. Thank you very much for joining me. It always kind of interrupts my flow. I get a good flow going, and then I have technical problems, and it kind of screws my whole program up, so I'm kind of stammering here to kind of get started. Thank you very much for joining me. Oh, no, the best of intentions. What can you do? So, all right. Well, thank you very much for joining me, guys. While I wait for the usual suspects to file in here again, my name is Red Baron. If you're new to the show, thank you and welcome for joining me. It's been in your first few programs. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me, guys. While I wait for the usual suspects to file in. As far as my group goes, we're all doing pretty darn good. We're involved in a new DAO, and that thing is just a certified money machine. So we're going to talk about that coming up here in the show. That's going to be interspersed throughout our charts. We're going to talk about that. And that thing is it's doing amazing, guys. Just absolutely amazing. I'm just going to kind of kill a couple minutes here while I'm waiting for some people to file in. So also, I want to talk about we planned on doing a New Year's Day uh, giveaway or something like that. We do have some new projects that we've got in the way here. So also, I want to talk about we on the show as well. But we are going to be doing some special pricing. So just might as well go ahead and put this out there. You guys can catch it on the rerun if you didn't catch it. If you're filing in late, I want everybody to be in so they hear about this. But we're going to be doing a founder's birthday special. And this is the biggest thing we've ever done. So the founder, who is the founder? The founder is Chase. That's my son, the whiz kid, the young man that's responsible for bringing this community together, creating Fibi charts and stuff. I'm the one that developed the AI stuff, but he's the one that does absolutely everything else to piece all this stuff together. He's an amazingly talented young man. So we're going to be doing a Founders Day special price, let's just call it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing gold package. For all you guys that have never subscribed to our AI charts, there's zero excuse why you shouldn't be in on this. What we're going to be doing, he turns 26 years old. Just the ripe old age is 26 years old here, January 28th. So we're going to be doing coming up here shortly, we're going to be be doing a special. Be watching for that, and I'll announce it coming up here very, very soon. Where we're going to be doing a special, a $28 access to gold for 1 week. So if you guys want to see what's in VIP, you want to kind of get a test taste. If you guys are down there in the Doge package, or down there in the X package, or the shitcoin package, or just you're not subscribed to any package at all, and you really want to see what VIP is all about, well, this is there's no excuse why you should jump in on this. So for $26, you're going to get full unfettered access to everything we do in the gold VIP package. So that's coming up here this end of this month. So you do not want to miss it. And plus, we've also got some other stuff here going on as well. So we've got a few things that we're also going to do for the higher level packages. So I know we're going to be doing a platinum promotion, so you guys that want to step up, get a test taste of that, possibly get a good price on that. We've yet to work out the details on that, but we are going to be doing that as well. So if you guys just want to kind of see what's going on, we're going to give you 1 week look behind the green curtain and see what's going on with Gold VIP. That's coming up yet to work out the details. So again, also a few other things we got going on here before we get just a little housekeeping. We have really seen a lot in the last year, so let's go ahead and get into this. Have I been cloned? I wish. I'd probably get more shit done. So far, just me. I just stay up twice as long as everybody else, and that's how I get so much stuff done. We have some issues here. So last year it was a good time for some people, not so good for a lot of people. We've seen a lot of unsubscribers, and the reason why the unsubscribers are happening is we have some they're just running out of money. Man. Times are tough, and I know that. I know that. So thank God that this DAO project has come along, and really all props go to Red Bear, our technical researcher, and my staff that brought this to our attention. I'm just really good at packaging this stuff together, but I don't take any credit for having discovered this. That is exclusively Red Bear for bringing that to us, and so he is an invaluable member of our team. So definitely, guys, give him a little together, but I don't take any credit for that. So. But that being said, we'll get into that. So I want to talk kind of a little bit about what we have come upon as a new idea for going on into 2022. So we're going to start helping some of these folks. You guys know that I'm really big into charity. I'm really big into helping people who cannot help themselves. And so we're going to further that endeavor going forward because the need is definitely there. So we discussed amongst the mods creating something where let me go ahead and just talk this story. I'm not going to name names, but I am going to tell a story. So one of our moderators, who's really everybody knows him, that's Logical Domain. He's kind of we call him the den mother. He knows everybody and he talks to everybody. He knows his stories and stuff like that. And he became aware of a gal that is subscribed to us. She puts all of her hope and faith in this guy that tells long stories and diverts his chain of thought about 50 times and eventually gets around to the point. But she's living in her faith, guys, and she lost her job with a major company, and so I take that very, very seriously. That she's putting her last hope in me. I mean, just imagine. I don't take that as pressure. I take that as challenge. And the fact I'm honored that somebody would look to me as their last solution. And I want to be that last solution. So what I want to do in order to help people like this, and there's going to be so many of them. I mean, we haven't even begun to see the start of this yet. We talked amongst the moderators that we want to create a scholarship program for these folks that just can't do it on their own. I mean, it's hard. I've seen some of my moderators have done this. It's just we're waiting for that Shiba, we're waiting for that XRP, and it's just like, folks are crying out loud. When's it going to happen? It just doesn't happen, and they're eating their crypto. I think we all know what that's like. I think every single one of you has kind of been there at one point in time. You got to pay the bills. The bills just never stop. It's just a constant assault. Prices are getting higher. Rent's not getting any cheaper. Gas is going up. Family problems, health problems, you name it. And of course, job losses on top of it. So we want to do what we can. I'm going to be creating several different things that I'm going to be doing within FIFO charts here this year. We're going to be expanding into charitable usage. And I've got some amazing programs that I'm put together. But the number one thing I want to talk to you about right now is we are going to be doing a scholarship thing where we're going to be we're going to be finding these people, and it's not going to be everybody's going to be able to get into this. There's only so much, but what we're going to do is we're going to. My intention here, I think, is we're going to give them a free access to the charts. We're going to set them up with a little bit of crypto, and we're going to let them go into crypto school for free. And so, at least prop them up. Hopefully, teach them. I'm not saying that that's going to save their life, but it'll give them a fighting chance that nobody else is giving them, and that's what I'm all about. All about second chances. So that's going to be number one. Number two, um, we're going to be probably expanding so the Dow program. So that being said on the scholarship thing, so let's talk about the next step. Have not brought this to my mods, but since I'm public, I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm going to be throwing the doors open on our DAO projects. If you guys are getting a little bit of a hum in the background, that's my space. Have not brought this to my mods, but since I'm public, quiet it down a little bit. This DAO project is an absolute monster, a monster. So we are quickly approaching $12 million of group money funded into this. DAO project is insanity, just insanity. I mean, you guys, it's amazing what you guys have brought to the table. So that kind of money should be spread around a little bit, as far as I'm concerned. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening the DAO project up to the public. So if you folks are not subscribed, are not part of our program, or not part of anything that we do, we definitely encourage you to swing over, join us for free at the unfairadvantage.chat, which is right here. Just simply go to this link. You'll find an invite from Red Baron, that's yours truly, and join us. And then send me a DM and say, hey, I want to get into this DAO project that you're talking about on YouTube. I mean, I have no idea how to get into it, and our folks will assist you in doing that. We do that obviously for a fee, but I'll tell you what, it's really nice to be able to have somebody that can guide you through the weeds to get into this thing, because if we showed you what you had to go through to get into this, you probably wouldn't do it, despite what the profit margins are. It's literally paying back 100% return in less than 35 days. I can speak publicly that what I've done, I've got a substantial, and I do mean substantial, literally paying back 100% coming in every single day as a result of this thing. In a month, every single month, I'm making about $1 million. I don't normally put those prices out for public consumption, but I've got a pretty substantial amount of money in it. I'm making not to brag. This is just to kind of make a point here. I'm making every 2 days what I paid on my first two-bedroom house some years ago. It's absolutely ludicrous how this thing is paying out, and we're finding the members that are investing lesser money are doing the same thing. And if you guys are invested in the DAO, if you guys want to go ahead and testify, do it right in the chat. Let us know what you're making. I mean, it's not just us; it's every single person that jumps in. We're doing the same thing. And if you guys are invested in the DAO, if you guys want to go ahead and testify, we're going to be throwing the doors open to the public. That's all of you guys within the sound of my voice. If you want to get involved in this thing, there's just a lot of good going on here. This thing seems to be the one bright shining star in the midst of all this trash that's raining down, because as we are seeing in the charts here, it ain't looking good, folks. It ain't looking good. Bitcoin is going down, and it's going to drag the whole lot of it with it. And so we're going to talk about that coming up here in the show. We're going to go through charts like we used to do back in the day. I apologize, guys. I've been very busy with this DAO project, and I just have not had a time to do the regular VIP stuff and stuff like that. There's only so much of me to go around, and I deeply apologize for those of you that are having a woo-woo withdrawal. We'll get Veronica Jane on here. We'll do a looking forward into 2022 show. I have not been able to hook up with her because I'm waking up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's how long I'm up all day long, and all night long. So it is currently 7 p.m. Chicagoland time, and I am just getting my day started. So I'll be going till wee hours in the morning, and so I'll crash and I'll wake up at 4:30 in the afternoon. It is currently 7 p.m. So I haven't seen the sun for God knows how long. But anyway, circling back on my comment here.
when we throw this open to the public, we are going to I am going to take a certain amount of that, and we are going to set that aside for charitable things. And so this year is going to be the year that we start to involve charity, and we start to do charitable things to help those who cannot help themselves. Because this kind of money, crypto people, God, you guys are just an amazing start. I don't think there's anything better than a crypto group of people. The folks that I've spent time with in Las Vegas and in Georgia prove that. All my moderators say the same thing. I mean, it's just these guys they're good people. You're all good people, and so I know you want everybody else to do well. So I want to be the conduit through which you guys can kind of channel your intentions to help the world, because that's what I'm here to do. So anyway, let's go ahead and get on to the show. So thank you very much for joining me. Again, my name is Red Baron for you guys that are new, and you can join us at theunfairadvantage.chat. No charge to be in that. We'd love to have you be in there. This is a group we're quite proud of. It's a Discord group, and we don't allow spammers, we don't allow scams, we don't allow phishing, all that other nonsense that goes on. So if you're looking for a mature group of people that definitely are crypto minded, you found a home. Join us at theunfairadvantage.chat. And of course, obviously, if you'd like to join and subscribe to the charts, we do have a founder special coming up. You definitely don't want to miss out on that, because we ain't going to be cheap on that. $26 to take a taste on that. One of the best subscribe to the chart. You can do that at FibiCharts.com, which is right here, FIBI charts.com. And of course, you can do that as you go to FibiCharts.com. Just go to the subscribe button on the upper left-hand corner. Click the button and go ahead and pick the package that you want. All right, with all that, we'll get this show on the road here. So taking a look at Bitcoin, I've been tracking this, and we've fallen out of this, and this is no surprise. I love how been watching the people going, we're going to 120,000. Boy, they turned on their heels fast, didn't they? I have to admit, I get a perverse giggle out of listening to these people that are so sure, and then the next day, maybe not. No, we're definitely going the I have to admit, the whole entire time I've been telling you we're going down, and I have not backed off on that, and we are exactly going to do what I tell you we're going to do. So we've got a lot of arrows here, so I'm telling you right now, basically what we're watching for, very easy to understand, is we're looking for this as being our first checkoff around about 35, 36. Got a lot of arrows here, so I'm telling you right now, basically I don't see that being an impossibility here probably in the next couple of weeks. So circling back to kind of explain how we've gotten where we've gotten so far. So we started this in October. My birthday party was in October. So everybody here circling a big birthday party down in Georgia. How we've gotten where we've gotten so far. So we started this, and that was quite a thing. Thank you very much once again for that. And I predicted that Shiba was going to be blasting off. Well, the Red Bear and I were in the car halfway to Georgia, and lo and behold, she did it. And that's when we should have seen Robinhood, who is a dismal failure, come out and supercharge that effort, and it's just been nothing. Constant disappointment. Constant disappointment. We should have seen Robinhood, and largely that's been the entire market. So our window for October slammed shut, and then so I had a smaller window that I was watching not as optimistically for November. I mean, it didn't come to pass, and that really didn't shock or surprise me. Now, I was kind of eyeballing with a little bit more enthusiasm, a little bit possibility in October. We did get a little bit. That's called the Santa Claus pump. We always get that just a little bit before Christmas, and that's all we got. And then just basically, since then. So here we are going into the new year. We are in the new year. So when moon? Well, not this damn week. I'll tell you that much for right now. I told you guys, I've given you, I'm still not cleared for it. So I apologize. I hate to keep teasing you, but I'm trying to tell you without being able to tell you that don't hold your breath, because it isn't going to be better till February. Later part of February. We have some things coming up, which I'm not able to disclose yet through my group. And it's not good, guys. It's not good. So back to the DAO project, which I'll be interlacing into this discussion. We've been talking with the moderators, and so how's this DAO going to do? Well, you got to expect everything is going to go down a little bit, but it is what it is. I mean, right now it's doing a lot better than everything else. And so that's if you want to pull profits at this point, if you're getting an echo, man, I don't know what to do about it. I really don't. And so you're gonna have to do something on your end because there's nothing I can do on my end. If you're getting echoes, if you're getting an echo, man, I don't know what to do about it. I really hang on just a second. Let me see if I can make one small adjustment. You're gonna have to do something on your end because there's nothing I can do. I don't think there's anything I can do on my end. If you're getting an echo, man, I don't know what to do about it. I really hang on just a second. Let me see if I can make one small. There we go. Okay. So as far as that goes, you kind of threw me off a little bit here. Hang on, I lost my train of thought here. There we go. Okay. So as far as is it goes, so bad that I have to kill the live stream because I can't hear myself talking, so I hate to change topics here, but I want to make sure the quality of the audio is good enough. Is it so bad that I have to kill the live stream? I honestly don't know what's going on. It's something that is probably with YouTube because there's nothing. I've made no changes on my end. I honestly don't know what's going on. It's something that really damn. I don't know what. Apologize, guys. It's probably with YouTube because there's nothing. I've made no changes on my end. Well, let me see here. Something that really I changed my audio jack, so I don't know that there's necessarily anything I can do. Generally, if you're getting an echo, it's because you're hearing it from my audio coming through my speakers. I changed my audio jack, so but my speakers are not on. Generally, if you're getting an echo, it's because you're hearing it from my audio coming through my speakers. I think the delay loop has a lot to do with. I notice a lot of these guys that are saying that there's an audio loop. They're Australian. I think the delay loop has a lot to do with. I notice a lot of these guys that are saying that there's an audio loop. They're Australian. Yeah, that way I don't have to repeat myself, right? I think the delay loop has a lot to do with. I notice a lot of these guys that are saying that there's an audio loop. Man, I apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that way I don't hold on a second. Myself, right? Man, I apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that way I don't hold on a second. Never fails, does it? Hold on just a minute. Man, I apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on. Hold on a second. Does that do anything for you? Does that do anything for you? Does that do anything for you? Yeah, I think what that was, hang on a second, I'm blasting the microphone there. Okay, so officially, is that any better? Does that do anything for you? Much better? Yeah, okay. I think what that was hang on a second. Not that you need to know this, but okay, so I'm using OBS software, which can be a little janky, and so basically I just jacked the price. Yeah, I think what that was the volume of the mic up to 1200%. So that better? All right. So OBS software. Sorry about that. It drives me nuts when I watch shows where they spend 30 minutes dicking with the microphone before they can actually get on the point. So I hate to be one of those guys. Better? All right. So. Sorry about that. It drives me nuts when I watch. All right, we'll go with that. So. All right. I'm just going to have to start all over again. All right. So anyway, as far as I was saying, is Bitcoin is just it's going to lead the market. It's going to show us to the bottom. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few things here. I don't think there's really anything more that needs to be said. So we're looking at basically about 3,500. So our first checkoff point here is always going to be right here, and you can see the TA without me having to draw yet again another arrow on here. You can see it's headed that direction. We've gone below the channel, came out, faked in. We're still inside that channel, so we're eking. This is a one-day chart that you're looking at here, so it takes a while for this thing to start showing any movement, but nonetheless you can see where we're heading, and a lot of these charts are all doing the same thing. So Ethereum on the 1 day, same deal. Ethereum, I already had this predicted a couple weeks ago. We're in that same basic pattern, and so again Ethereum, will we get down that far? Very, very strong possibility we're going to get down into the 32s. I wouldn't have a problem with you guys buying at the 32. and just calling it a day. But I think if we're going to get to 32, we're probably going to go full stroke and go to the bottom of that. So that could put you down in there in the 24.50 range. Wouldn't that be grand to be able to buy Ethereum at that range again? It's a bit of a hope at this point in time, but I just don't think that last butt kicking that we got way back when was quite enough to make the point. So I think we still have to go lower. And again, I was getting back to my XRP prediction from a year ago. I still think we still got to go to 22 to 25. As unrealistic as that may seem to some of you, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And I have for about a year, if not longer. And so if 22 to 25 is where we go for XRP, then you can bet everything else is in the toilet as well. So speaking of toilet, let's talk about the dog drinking out of the toilet. And that's going to be that's going to Shiba. This thing just is a disappointment. So I tell every single one of you guys that have bought into the DAO project, you're all holding Shiba, and I've just basically, I won't give you my opinion, but I will definitely make you think hard about your position. And a lot of you, after listening to what I had to say, went, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I think I should probably get out. So I'll go ahead and I'll say it publicly. What have you got here? You've got a coin that has no fundamentals. We're all in agreement on that. That is no longer backed by anybody, if it ever really was, no longer backed by anybody with any credibility. The only people right now that are still holding the faith, and I don't mean to say this against any of you guys, the only people that are still holding the faith are a bunch of ill-informed people that don't understand how money works, market cap works, etc., etc. That's who's in this group. This is who you're amongst. This is who you're pinning your hopes and dreams on to get to that whatever price you're expecting, and it ain't gonna happen. It's the blind leading the blind. So when I look at a project like this right now, I mean, I was in it for a while. I got the bug. I got bit by the dog. But I'll tell you what, I got to looking at this thing, and when this thing started to do this, and I saw this, I knew this was coming. I called it, and I said, I'm out. I'm out. I booked, and I'm in at a much higher level here, and I booked, which is against my better judgment, against my personal ethics to ever book a loss. I took a 27% loss, and it was a big haircut. I mean, we're talking 30 billion plus that I took a 27% loss at, because the greater good was being served, and I put it into the DAO, and brothers and sisters, I got it back, and a whole lot more. So that's the name of the game, is to take one coin and turn it into as many coins as you can without losing time value of money, etc., etc., some of the things that we've talked about. And so I have a lot of you guys, and you're into Shiba, and so I just simply ask you this. So listen, you got yourself a coin here that hasn't done anything. It's not kicking out daily profits, is it? Nope. All right, strike one. Do you have any guarantee of where it's going to go pretty soon? No. Are you getting more points for holding the coins that you're holding? No. Strike one, strike two, strike three. Let me introduce you to the DAO. And so we start talking about the DAO, and I start running numbers and start comparing how Shiba stacks up to the DAO. And trust me, it is not even a comparison. Most of the guys that are in the chat right now are already invested in this, so they can back what I'm talking about. The DAO project right now is kicking out payments 3 times a day, 90 times a month. It's compounding upon compounding upon compounding, and it does it 3 times a day, 90 times a month, 1,080 times a year. Can you imagine the money that is the most modest amount of investment will kick out? Can you say this about Shiba? Not only no, but hell no. Not even in the best day downhill with the wind at your back are you ever going to get that kind of return out of Shiba. If the whole world loses its mind and goes dog money, it's still not going to return. Things like that. So this is kind of my sales pitch for this. And again, I'm not the creator or the owner of this DAO, but we backed it. We like it. It has Crypto Jesus behind it. Crypto Jesus is our nickname for Red Bear. So that's something that this guy's stuck in Georgia, and every once in a while we just like to poke him and say that. So it has Crypto Jesus. Crypto Jesus is our nickname for Red Bear. But it's doing amazing. amazing things, guys. I mean, it's kicking out real money that you can reinvest, you can hang on to. So we'll talk in detail about this later on. I'm just kind of teasing you guys that are in public that are not joining this, because you need to come into our group at the unfairadvantage.chat and find out what is this thing he's talking about. How is it possible to get 1,080% or 80 times compounded interest at it's floating around. I don't know what the APY is at this particular moment in time, but I have seen it as over 200,000 APY. Last I looked, it was like 120,000 APY. But again, if you took that to your banker, he would call you insane to even think that you could get something. But welcome to crypto. It's very possible to get those kind of returns in crypto. Can't do it with fiat, but you can do it with crypto. Magic internet money, boys and girls. That's what it's all about. So Shiba, back to this. I've lost my religion. I'm just out of the dog cult. I just am. I'm not coming back. I'm not looking back. This is old hat for me. And basically what I'm looking to do here with this is I'm looking to take the profits from the DAO here probably in about 5-6 months and start slowly stepping out with my principal. And then what I've effectively got, 135,000 APY. How's that looking? Are you getting that out of Shiba? Are you getting that out of anything else in crypto right now? Hell no. So here in probably about 4, 5, 6 months, I'm going to be slowly stepping out a little bit out of taking my principal out. So eventually, I'm going to have all my principal taken out of the DAO project, and then basically what I've got is a magic money making machine that's running on house money, that's funded by house money, that literally just kicks out infinite returns every single day, and it's going to lower my billions of dollars of top end, but I really don't care, because effectively what's going to end up happening is if this thing holds ground when everything else is kind of going into the toilet, uh, you know, it's still generating money, and I could take that money and I could put it into some of these other beatdown projects, and how sweet is that? You got a magic internet money creating machine that's giving you it's a dry powder machine. Let's call it what it is. I mean, every single day you find something like, oh man, I wish I had some money for this project or that project. You do. If you're holding on to one of our DAO project, you can basically just go to your little magic internet money, pull out today's profit, buy yourself some of those ISO coins, and build yourself a real solid foundation. And that's what we're going to be talking about. We have a new DAO server for this particular project. So we have the one at the unfairadvantage.chat. You have to kind of get into that one to get into the other one. So you got to go to step 1 to go to step 2. To get into the DAO server, you got to come into the unfairadvantage.chat. Basically, work your way into the group. So we don't just let any in here. We have one. We vet you and see that you're serious about wanting to do this. We're not looking for people that are in and out, here and gone. We're looking for people that work your way into and grow this project, because my techs are behind this, and because they believe in it, I believe in it, and I see the fundamentals. I was one of the last of the group to get in, because the old man always has to be moving slow and easy. And the other thing is I see Chuck or Cross Chuck posted that it's down 13% today. So it's rather interesting. If Shiba were down 13%, everybody would be crying and wailing and bitching and moaning, but it doesn't matter with the down, because it's still kicking out coins. It doesn't matter whether it's up, down, sideways, whatever. It's still kicking out coins, and it's lowering your dollar cost average literally as you sit there and watch it generate money. So yes, when rising tide raises all boats and everything starts to go up here, when we finally do get in an official bull run, I have no problem telling you guys that I see this thing going to $2,500 to $3,500. No problem whatsoever, because that's around about a 5x from where we're at right now. And I've told you guys over and over and over and over and over that I expect to see anywhere from 8x to 15x on all cryptos when we go into official bull run. Starting this year now. Starting this year. So, pretty much easy, simple math to be able to figure out. On all cryptos when we go into official bull run. Starting this year now. Starting this year. So, pretty much easy, simple math to be able to figure out. On all cryptos when we go into official bull run. All right, so let's get back to the regular stuff here, because I know it's almost kind of after you get involved with this DAO thing, it's almost kind of humdrum to look at all this and kind of go, oh man, it's going to go up 20%, yawn. All right, so let's get back we got to kind of keep a look at this stuff because we have to kind of know when we have our down money kicking out to us. We need to know what to buy, and then going forward for the next 6 months or so, that's pretty much the way I'm going to be preaching this stuff to you guys: is use your money to buy these things when they're smashed down. So. That's pretty much the way it's going to be from now on. Is we're just looking for the bargains to buy back in and hold. So I'm not looking to flip anything right now because I think the point of flipping right now is a little bit funny because if you're going to be buying in on this stuff, we're going to be hitting lows again that just haven't been seen for quite a while, and so it's stupid to cut yourself off at the knees and limit your top end growth. I mean, we're getting down to the point where, I mean, here we are at 85 cents again. Well under $1. You can clearly see where I am already telling you guys we're going to go. I'm actually going to raise that up a little bit, but this dual AI here is definitely going to be in the cards. You can see it. Your measured move is going to take you. No, just go ahead and do that. Your measured move is going to take you right on down there, just like that. So from top to bottom, if we go, we'll take that. We drag it down there like that. Your measured move is going to take there, and boom, there you go, just like that. And so that is 69, just a hair under 70 cents for those of you that can't see it or listening to me on your phone. And that's not it. That's definitely not it. That's just one signpost on the way down, and so that would put you right about there at 50%. Should you buy it at 75 cents or 70 cents? No, I don't think you should. I think you should hold out into the 50-cent range because I think we're definitely going to be there too, and more. I don't have any problem saying that we're probably going to be right in this general range here. Beyond that, I'll have to kind of see how bad things are. Yeah, 120% is still still wonderfully boring. I know. I'm like, only 20%. It's like crypto spoils us, man. I mean, it's so funny to see people. Oh, you only made 1x or you only made 2x. I'm like, God, you try that in real estate, you're doing cartwheels. A lot of you guys are real estate people like I am. I mean, back to the Dow, I'll be interjecting this in a lot of the conversation. I've been telling a lot of you guys that I've got a lot of money invested in this Dow, and what I'm making right now in one day is more than I used to make in 5 weeks of doing a foreclosure. And I mean, and that's pretty fast turnover. I mean, to the kind of money that I made in anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks of closing a foreclosure house investment is 5 figures. And most people go, "Oh my God, you made all that money in 5 weeks?" Yeah, I'm making it in one day now, every single damn day, every single day. I wake up at 4:30 like a bum, check my account, cha-ching, baby, roll over, go back to sleep. That's not bad, not bad. This won't go on forever, obviously. So we're going to ride this horse until the legs fall off of it. And I imagine probably we're going to be seeing about a year to a year and a half of performance out of this thing. And this won't go obviously. They're paying some crazy amounts of interest right now just to draw people in. It's advertising. It's what they do. But the sooner you're in, the better set you are. When these things hit these all-time high prices and start to level out and stuff, you're still going to have a magic internet money machine. So that's what it's all about. And then we'll be looking for the next one. Going back to our earlier thing that I mentioned also, we do have a lot of projects that we're floating the ideas of, excuse me, of having my own DAO or having our own DAO a little bit above our pay grade. I think it's a little bit too much bureaucracy, so would have been cool, but I don't want to be an also run. If we can't do it right, then let's not do it at all. So we are thinking of doing something with Ethereum and a liquidity pool for Ethereum. Now, I won't be paying these insane rates, but also Red Bear and I were discussing that. So I think that'll probably be our next project is a liquidity pool for Ethereum, because you pretty much at this juncture in time can't go wrong. Having an association with Ethereum is always a good thing, because Ethereum's going to be $10,000 before you see it. So anyway, 30 minutes to rebase. Isn't it fun? We can just go 30 minutes to payday. It's like every 8 hours is like Friday at 5 o'clock, ain't it? So anyway, 30 minutes to rebase. Isn't it fun? We can just go 30 minutes to payday. It's like every 8 hours is like Friday at 5 o'clock, ain't it? So anyway, 30 minutes to rebase. It's fun. We can go. Anyway, 30
get a
minutes
little
to
bit
rebase.
better.
Isn't it fun?
I've got
30 minutes to payday. It's like
I had
every 8 hours
Does
is
that
like
make it any
Friday
better?
at 5 o'clock, ain't it? So anyway, 30 minutes to rebase.
I took my headset off. That might have been doing get a little bit better. I've got a I had a headset. Every 8 hours. Does that make it any better? 5 o'clock, ain't it? Sorry, I think I know what it was. Did I just kill the echo? I think I know what it was. I'm pretty sure I know what it is now. Did that just stop? I imagine it probably just stopped. Perfect. Yeah, I know what it was. It was feeding. It was feeding the desktop audio. Was feeding back into. I'm sorry about that, guys. So, all right, cool. Too many bells and whistles. Too many bells and whistles. Yeah, apologize for that. All right. So XLM is kind of getting into a rounded bottom now. Looking very strongly like it's going to blast. Came down to the predictive level, and it's looking like it wants to kind of go up. XLM is going to be one of those. Clearly, when you look at the chart difference between XRP and XLM, you are seeing a very distinct difference in the way things are shaping up. I mean, you can clearly see that these two are not playing the same game. And it just there was a time when they used to work one for one or whatever, and they just don't do that anymore. So XRP is not looking at all very bullish, and XLM is kind of fighting. And this kind of fits into the narrative, like I said, that XLM is going to outperform on a percentage basis XRP. I've been right all along with that. So here, what we are, 29 to 85. Okay, so here you go. So we're at 30 cents to 85. Now remember, several live streams ago when we were at 3.5 to 1 ratio, you see it shrinking just like I told you it was going to. Just like I told you it was going to. If you have any doubts that I'm going to be wrong about this, simply look at that and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Now, generally most people would probably assume that XRP was going to be a price and XLM was going to come up. No, I didn't mean it that way. What I mean is basically the money that you have involved in XLM is going to do better than the money you have involved in XRP, and you can clearly see that it's playing out. So where does that go? Where does that end? I don't know. But I'm thinking probably, I wouldn't be surprised. Let me see if I can jack up the volume. Volume a little bit better now. Maybe. I'll tell you what, this damn control board is about the biggest POS I've ever seen in my life. It's back down to 1200. It keeps readjusting itself. I set it at 1200 and it resets itself. So hang on just a second. I'm going to put this up one more time and hopefully. All right, how's that? That's got to be about as good as it's going to get. It should be loud and clear and no echo. Better. Sorry about that. I mean, didn't mean to blow your ears out. All right. Now, don't touch nothing. Nobody breathe. Nobody breathe. Okay. I apologize, guys. It's just too many bells and whistles. All right. So anyway, X twins are basically just kind of doing so. XLM. I'm still of the mind that this is going to go down because everything is going to go down. I mean, I've still got a marker down here, but I think we're going to be seeing a little bit more of a pump, possibly up to this line, and maybe a turn down at some point in time. So, guys are throwing me off. I get on a thought, and then you start having me play with my audio, and that throws me off. So this one again, I'm watching to be really clear on XDC. So can somebody give me? I just have no time for this. Can somebody give me a synopsis really quick in the chat? Did XDC was supposed to be listed on Coinbase? I heard that it did get listed on. Can you trade it? Can you buy? If it's loud, just turn the volume down. can you change or can you buy XDC on Coinbase now? Can you trade it? If you can trade it, then that's going to explain why we're seeing what we're seeing here, because this is just a Coinbase pump. But I'm expecting a slide here pretty soon. Actually, probably back down to about here. I can see it right now in the chart. We're probably going to be dropping back down to the 9.092. It's not listed on Coinbase yet. So are they collecting? Are they collecting coins for liquidity? That's the last that I heard. Not tradable, but it is listed but not tradable. So they're collecting coins for liquidity. All right, fine, fair enough. It's coming. It's coming. So that's probably what jacked this up a little bit. But I'm not at all going to be surprised to see us fade back down to this line, if not lower. Definitely into that area there, so you can see that we've already got the baseline supports and stuff like that. We came down, bounced right off of that. So we got one level of support right there, another level of support. Actually, I'll just give you three. We got about 3 levels of support. You got another one right there. I'm not at all going to be surprised to see us ultimately end up down there in the 6-cent range. And I'll tell you, back to the Dow, probably one of the finest coins you could probably shave off some of your Dow money. I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about in a couple of months. Probably one of the finest coins you could probably invest some of that free internet money into would be this. In my opinion, that's one of my plays. Is going to be, this is what we call an ISO coin. Definitely one you want to be in because it's underappreciated at this point in time. When it comes on and starts to become a major gear in the ISO ecosphere of the whole banker ecosphere, you definitely don't want to miss out on that. So any of these 3 coins are definitely ones that you're going to want to be all in on with your free Dow money, because these 3 right here are what's going to build legacy fortune. Right there. You don't have to go outside of these 3 to do that. Now, if you do want to go outside of that, you can be looking at something like a quant. You could be definitely looking at Algorand. Let's look at Algorand here real quick, because I haven't paid attention to a lot of these things because I've been jacking around trying to get all you guys onboarded with the Dow. Again, this is not looking bullish at all. You can see we have a couple markers here waiting to be fulfilled. This one's lining up, and we're going to drop down, and we're going to see this happen. So not going to be necessarily a good week. Let's take a look at quant here. Somebody's actually asking me questions, so let's go ahead and go through the ISO coins. By the way, Platinum Pro is about to start to go. So you guys have all heard how we lost Jose, passed away from the jab. He was one of my 6-year employees. I lost him. I am currently trying to get another person. So we've got a really neat couple of applications that are going to be, or a couple of desktop apps that are going to be part of side function to Platinum Pro. That basically one of them is going to be Anubis Tracker, which is we originally wanted to build it into the website. However, that's just too much data coming through. So we're going to make it a desktop app that's clickable off of Platinum Pro. And then it'll be something where you can just let that go and leave it on your desktop. And it's somewhat similar to what you get in Coinbase. Well, like when you log on Coinbase and you look at Coinbase Pro and you look down the list of all the ones that have the red arrows going up or the green arrows going up, red arrows going down. But you can sift it and stack it and sort it. Like, show me the biggest winners for 1 hour. Show me the biggest losers for 1 day. Show me the highest volume, lowest volume coins. And so it makes your shopping experience really easy. You don't have to spend time pouring through 500 charts trying to figure out what the best investment is. And, because it's a time consumer. And I do it too. It takes me an awful lot of time to go through that stuff. So either you really don't have too many other tools in your toolbox to be able to just point and go, hey, we got a deal on Populous, or we got something going on with Bancor or Telcoin. All the coins that we track on Platinum Pro will be fed into Anubis Tracker, and it will actually kick out and show you the biggest percentage winners or losers for any 1 hour, 6 hour. What was it? It's 15 minute. Yeah, it's 15 minute, 1 hour, 6 hour, 1 day, and 1 month losers and winners. And then so you can see trends and stuff like that and know, hey, we're at an all-time low or whatever, or all-time high, so maybe it's time to sell, or maybe it's time to buy more, something like that. Just a hell of an investment tool. So that was about 99% done when Jose passed away. So we lost all the code on that. We have to start all over again because he didn't give us a copy of it. But I'm finding a person that can get that done. So my hope and prayer is that maybe we can get somebody lined up and get that back online here, hopefully by June, July. But nonetheless, with regard to Platinum Pro, we are adding some new stuff. We've got a few new coins. We added Mover, which is part of the ecosphere for the DAO, and there is no coin for the DAO that we're tracking right now. So sucks, but it is what it is. So we've added Veracity, RMRK, Gallon, ML, ALBT, and Sand, and we are going to be adding a considerable number more as we get into. So we don't track those in platinum. We don't track them in gold, bronze, and silver, et cetera, et cetera. So Platinum Pro is definitely for you guys that are more aggressive, wider, bigger, deeper pockets, bigger bags, more attention on more coins. It really is our ultimate upper trading thing that we're doing. And so this is going to expand radically this year. Currently we have over 100 coins. I think we have like 110, something like that. We're going to be tripling that this year. So what you're paying for, you're getting a hell of a lot of information. Also, we're going to change up the format of this a little bit, where we're going to group certain coins like metaverse coins, ISO coins are all going to be changed up into quadrants or groups, so you don't have to currently right now those are ISO coins and you got to come all the way down here. So it's just, I'll tell you honestly what's going on is Chase's girlfriend's here for 2 weeks, and so as soon as she gets out of here tomorrow, he'll get back to work and start getting stuff done. But gotta have girlfriend time, so she lives in Chicago, very far away from us, and so he doesn't get to see her. So we've got to have girlfriend time once in a while. So that is what it is. But the real work will start here shortly to getting all that stuff done. All right, so let's take a look at a few other things. So Theta, I'm really honestly, guys, I'm not going to have a hell of a lot to say here that you're going to want to hear as far as what's going up or what's going down. I'm just kind of more or less just kind of spinning my wheels watching this because I knew this is how this was going to be going into this year. It's neither up nor down. Is what it is. Did my damn thing kick down again? Hang on just a second. Man, I'm telling you what, guys, I do not know what in the hell is up with this audio. It kicked down again. It's turning my audio down automatically. I got gremlins. Hold on. I have no idea what's going on with that. Better now, isn't it? I have no idea what's making that do that. It keeps kicking my audio down for whatever reason. Presumably you can see me. I guess I'm just gonna. What it is I've got my audio turned all the way up 1200%, and every once in a while it'll just kick down for no reason. I guess I'm just gonna have to leave this control board open and see what's going on with that. So apologies. So anyway, Theta is doing exactly the same thing as everything else. I'm not expecting anything good for the rest of this month. We might have some bright spots here and there and stuff. So basically, this is why I've been very quiet on live streams. There just hasn't been a lot to say. I've had a couple of people go, "Well, man, you just don't post like you used to." I'm like, "Well, there's nothing to say. I'm not going to say it. I mean, because all I'm doing is I'm wasting my time and I'm giving you hope where there is no hope." And so, if there's an emergency or something that I want you guys to get in on, of course, I'm going to be on live stream. I'm going to be telling you about it. But for right now, it's basically kind of dead. And it will be that way for probably a good amount of time. Where I'm watching for is I'm watching for bargain basement bottom. We're going to see bottom before we see anything heading up. I assure you of that. What happened to the 10x bull run? Still coming. It's been delayed since October. They keep pushing it down. It's coming. Oh, it is definitely coming. But I've also been telling you that February is going to be a game changer. What happens in February? Let's think about that. Have we had any real fallout from this Evergrande thing? Not yet. Certainly hearing an awful lot of news. When is the other shoe going to drop? Well, it's coming. It's coming. When is the other shoe going to drop? When are we going to see people rioting in the streets over the jab and stuff? Well, we're starting to see that now. When are we going to see silver go to 600? Eventually. Nothing. When are we going to see our next what do we want to call it? Attack. I'm not going to use the T word. when are we gonna? We haven't seen anything. I mean, just really, people are more afraid of rumors right now than anything real that you can sink your teeth into that should cause these markets to tank or raise. And so it's just been a constant state of paranoia more than it has been real bad, truly bad news. It's just paranoia of the fear of the unknown more than the known that's been going on. But mark my words, boys and girls, when something happens, and it will happen because you know how this life is, when something really, really provable happens, be that, I don't know, my mind wanders to some pretty dark places, but when it does happen, you're gonna see that be the match that lights the whole thing off, and when it does, you're gonna see these markets move accordingly. And so I'm telling you, it is coming. It is coming. Nobody can know the date and the time, but I'm telling you, it is coming. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. So I was watching T-Fuel. Here we are again at 20 cents, and I told you anything under 25%, anything under 25 cents is good to own T-Fuel. But again, it's going down, same as everything else. And so when we see this go down, and it is starting to head down now, I wouldn't have a problem with anybody buying in at this rate right here at 18 and a half cents, although I do believe it will go lower. If you just can't stand it, we probably could catch a bounce right here. I'm not saying it's going to plunge and drop, unless the whole market is plunging and dropping. But realistically, I see it coming to probably more like that. But I'll just be conservative and go halfway. Actually, I probably could do this. There we go. There we go. I wouldn't have any problem with you guys buying T-Fuel at 18 and a half cents, 18 and a quarter, because the price to follow in by the end of this year, this new year, will not be anywhere close to this. I easily see $1.25 for this when things start to kick off and really go bananas. It would not be. That's only 5x, guys. So again, I tell you, 8 to 12x is what I expect the whole market to do. So could T-Fuel get to $2.50? Absolutely, it could. Absolutely, and it will, given time. So I'm circling back to Quant. I've got it open on my screen here. So anyway, let's take a look at Quant real quick. Actually, let me just work down so I'm not hunting and pecking all over here. We'll get to Quant when I get to the bottom. So VeChain is another one that really, here we are back under 10 cents again, man. Anything under 10 cents, VeChain is a fabulous buy. Even 15, even 20 cents is a fabulous buy for VeChain if you can just be a little patient with it. However, that being said, we're not even done. We're not even close to done yet. Trying to realize where the bottom's at, because here's the best case scenario, TA. The best case scenario will blow your mind. How'd you like to get you some of that? 6.72%, 6.72 or 0.672 VeChain. Very, very, very likely to happen. Very likely to happen. In a plunge scenario, it'll go there. Halfway again, we always like to do those 50% calls right about there. Why would it go 50%? Because that's where we got support and resistance right there. So this one here, in my mind, is guaranteed. Gonna happen. Gonna happen. But, if you want to hold back a little bit more for down here, God bless you. But at 7.75 cents or 0.775 cents, that ain't too bad, because we've got a top end prediction of VeChain. Anubis is showing $7 to $15 in the future, 4 or 5 years out. We all know this thing and what it is, what it does, and why it's not going anywhere. So right now you've been given a gift, and if you can use your magic internet money from your DAO project and scoop this thing up by the bucketfuls at 3/4 of a dime, then do as much as you can. Enough said. So let's check in with our free call. So you guys that are new to live stream, new to the program, if you join us at the unfairadvantage.chat, I do give away free calls. I do share free charts. This is the free chart that I have, kind of my little charity gift to everybody that comes along and wants to learn something. I told you guys over and over and over again that I'm looking for $20 to $25 by the end of last year, and we did hit $20. We did hit it. So right in that range. And so what's the prediction for this year? Well, I'm going to let it simmer for a little bit. So we're going to revisit 20 to 25. 25 is definitely in the cards by the end of this year. Actually, it's more like 40 to 45 by the end of this year. So I'll just kind of leak that, and then I'm not going to mention that very often, but just know that you heard it at the first of the year that Uncle Barron is telling you that we are going to be going damn near $50 OMG by the end of this year. But not yet. So if we have a chance to go down, we're going to go down. So I see it probably going down here to about the $4.60 range, and in a panic drop going even lower. But we can pretty much count on this being our next level down, that orange line, right, or this yellow line being our next line to the bottom. So. You ever notice that when I'm doing charts, I kind of wander right around this thing. I never quite touch it. This like pisses me off. XYO is like, it was such a volatile little monster. It was making money for everybody but me because I jumped in one more time. I told everybody, don't follow me in. I'm just doing this. Just FYI, I'm doing this. Don't follow me in. And I threw in when I knew I shouldn't have. And so I was just trying to scalp, and it scalped me. So I took a little bit of a haircut on that. No big deal. No big deal. I can't win them all. But they reversed pattern on me, and it just caught me. So I just right now I'm having a difference of opinion with this coin right now, and it will be XYO. I kind of attached, for those of you who don't know this coin, it's a tracking coin, and I kind of loosely associate it with VeChain, and I do believe that whatever good you could say about VeChain, you could probably also loosely associate with XYO. So I think XYO is going to do fine, going to do very fine in the future. Actually, Veronica Jane, our transmedium psychic, loves the hell out of this thing. Says it's a shiny coin. Says it's great, but not yet. So again, when you're dealing with inventory type stuff, I mean, look at supply lines, how blasted they are right now. So we're not tracking anything right now. We're just trying to stay alive and feed our kids, for Christ's sake. So this is not a coin that is necessarily needed at this point in time. But I think the original volatility and pump that we saw was on the promise that this coin holds. But this too shall pass, and we will get into that later on as far as its utility and stuff like that. But she's going to go to sleep for a while, I think, and we're already seeing that right now. So I'm just giving it a kind of a wide path. Let's get out on the one day and see what this looks like, and I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about a little bit more. You can see we just had this wild swing, and I said, here we are in the triangle, played out of the bottom of the triangle. We're just right along there. So I don't see this thing coming up anytime soon. So this was just all kind of feel good pumpage, and then just back down to where she belongs right now. So there's really nothing about this coin that says that it's going to go sky high anytime soon. So just not interested in playing with it for right now. Dent is really, really performing beautifully. So we've got a plug-in for Anubis that I use called Long Count, Short Count, something that I kind of developed. You can find a tool that looks like this in TradingView, but this is something that I developed that tracks sine wave movement. So you can see, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. It's just riding across that sine wave just perfectly. So these are the things that are going on in my AI programs that you don't always see publicly. So I just happened to put it on this chart because I just found it fascinating that it's following so accurately. And again, we're looking at, and it doesn't mean it has to ride up the actual outside, but it's going to trend with that. So we're looking at probably about much more before we start to take another downturn. But make no mistake about it, I've already shown you where this story ends down here. It ends down here. And again, this is where I originally got in when Lenny gifted me a whole bunch when he joined Diamond, and up we went. We all know the story there. And I think we're going to see that again. So scaling all the way back, I want to show you again because I made this prediction literally the day that I got it. I told you that we are going to get into a triple wave scenario where basically it's going to go up, it's going to go up high, it's going to go down, and it's going to go up again. So I think we're going to get into a triple wave deal where when this thing finally, you could kind of logically call that the third wave. We have kind of a double bump there, but this basically played out exactly where I said it would. Came down, we kind of got a little bit of exuberance, but we'll kind of call that one move right there. So down we go. I think we have to go lower. We have to kind of get down into this general range right here, but I don't see this going up from this point. We have to go down, and then when we do, we'll probably go sideways for a little bit, but eventually, I see this thing going to $11. And so, does that mean this year? No. Next year? No. But heading that direction in the next couple of years. This is a telecom coin, and it's a pay-as-you-go coin for phone access in third world countries. It's what we call an Africa coin. There's a lot of technology going on over in Africa. I've talked about in live streams past, and how I've spent time over in Africa and seen how the infrastructure works, and guys, they are much more technologically savvy than we are here in the United States. We're spear carrying savages compared to those guys. They're paying for everything they do off of digital currency on their phones called M-Pesa. They've been doing it for damn near 15 years. M-Pesa was invented the year after Bitcoin, and these guys, they buy a brand new Apple or Samsung phone. M-Pesa app is built right in. So you go to Uber, you go to grocery store, you go to wherever you go, you don't have to carry shillings with you. You can pay by Kenyan shillings. You can just pay by using M-Pesa. And M-Pesa is used not only in Kenya, but it's used also in some other parts of Africa. But we'll talk about M-Pesa. It's a fascinating coin. And it really is a preview on where the world is going. And I've said this many times. So if you guys think that Africa is all about starving kids with flies in their face and stuff like that, you don't know what you're talking about. You've been fed a line of garbage, because Africa is extremely technologically savvy, very much so. All right. And so this coin has its roots, as does Cardano, as does Dent, as does Electronium is another one. And we'll be talking about Electronium. So those three coins are going to be emergent Africa coins here, but not just yet. So as long as we're talking about another African coin, Cardano, ADA, they're hiding out in Africa. Why are they doing that? Because they have gun sights on them from the SEC. There's been a lot of rumors that SEC is going to be putting ADA on the chopping block next, and whether that's true or whether it's not, the market is responding accordingly, and it's not impressive. $1.33 for Cardano is not an impressive price, and I don't look to see it go up much higher. So many guys that are I'm holding a lot of ADA here, it's going to do great. Yeah, it's going to do great, but not this year. So again, this is one of those things like Shiba. I'm like, okay, well, you're holding all this, and meanwhile, you got a big bag of hope right now. It's not paying you daily. It's not multiplying itself. So maybe you might want to take a look at putting some of this into the DAO project so that you can start making daily returns 3 times a day. And so some of the guys that are holding a pretty substantial amount of ADA have liquidated their assets, because look, if you're getting a coin that's kicking out profits 3 times a day, every 8 hours, 24 hours a day, 365, if you got a coin that's doing that, if you're so in love with Cardano, I'm telling you right now, it's going to go lower. If you're getting profits kicked out to you by a DAO project coin, save that money and buy this thing later, and also own the DAO now. So this is kind of the way you want to invest, and you want to treat these downturns. Is don't hold this thing to the bottom, because there's no reason. Because I'm holding out a savior for you here that could very well give you growth that you can't even possibly imagine, plus be able to generate the money to buy this back at a discount. So it's kind of the best of all worlds. You're literally getting a whole bakery full of cake and the icing too. So Polkadot is actually part of the DAO infrastructure. We will be, at some juncture in time, I will be doing a tech chat with Red Bear. We've been dying to get this done, just hasn't been enough time with my sleep schedule and whatnot. And we will be talking about how Polkadot works into the whole DAO project ecostructure. And however, I did take a very large position now, because I know that I invest by association. So for example, if I hear that, I'm being funny about this, but if I hear like a major track or like a major Olympic program is coming up, I might want to be investing in tennis shoes, that kind of thing. So you want to be investing in things that are associated with a winner. You want to be with winners, as Joe would say. So, and it's the truth. It's the truth. So Polkadot is a very attractive price right now. It's sub $30. It will get more attractive. I can see it easily getting down to, and I've already got markers down here, easily see it get down into the $21 to $23 range. And if it does, make that some of your priority buy. Consider this to be another version of Ethereum in the early years. Because this is going to be a powerful chip to own or a coin to own. So I did a six-figure buy on this to kind of give you an idea of where I'm at with this. I went hard. And I'm in right now. I didn't wait to the bottom because I've got a different financial outlook than you guys do. So I'm in it for a much longer hold than a lot of you guys probably could stand for. So, but I do believe that the future is extremely bright for Polkadot, and so I want me some of that. So I got some. Now let me skip down here. Zill. Well, actually, it's not. So we haven't really talked an awful lot about Zill lately. However, every time I do bring up Zill, I kind of poo-poo it because it's a consumer-based coin. It has to do with the shopping experience, the sub 30-year-old shopping experience. Risky. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is Zill is commonly, and I'm speaking generally, so nobody correct me in the chat, but I am fairly accurate in my assertions here. Zill is associated with a lot of websites that serve the sub 35-year-old market, consumer market. All right, so let's think about that for a second. Not a powerful bunch of earning people. Not some deep pockets in a lot of those groups. Granted. So you are pinning your financial hopes. When you're buying Zill, you're not buying Zill, you're buying Zill's consumers. And this is who is behind pushing the value of this thing, is a bunch of, and please bear, understand that I'm not trying to be hateful when I say this. You're dealing with a bunch of people that are not savvy, are shiftless, directionless, turns on a whim. It's hot now, it's cold tomorrow. That's what you're basing your idea of Zill on. So Zill is the financial engine that powers some like websites like T-shirt companies, et cetera, and stuff. Shopping, just worthless stuff that nobody needs. Let's just cut to the chase on this. And effectively, this is not a financial coin. It's not a banker coin, stuff like this. This is for buying tchotchkes and garbage and crap nobody needs. And people are not going to be buying, T-shirts and all the little goofy shit that people buy when an economy is good. So let's call a spade here. Because Zill is going to go down as a result. It's a good project, don't get me wrong, but its value will be reduced in the fact that it's not being utilized because going forward, consumerism is dying. And this is a consumer coin, consumer use coin. So let's call a spade and understand what we're buying when we buy Zill. This is why I've been very cold on it. So do not think for a single second that we're not going to go sub-red line on this. Very easily we'll be down into the nickel territory. Should you buy it? Just because it's on sale doesn't mean you should buy it. And so I don't really think that we're going to see. Ultimately, I don't think that we're going to see these massive gains that we'd see on something like a Polkadot, something like an XRP, certainly like an XLM or whatever. So if I was given a bag of coins to consider, Zill wouldn't even be on the list as far as I'm concerned. I've told you many times how Uniswap. It's been a long time since we checked in on Uniswap. I've told you Uniswap to me is yesterday's news because up against 1 inch, it can't. You can tell how long I've checked the charts because it's been not even. It's still hanging in there, but it's just trending sideways as to be expected. So, by how the mighty have fallen. Remember the days when this was $69. So I was right. I told you this thing is going to go down, and it has. And I don't think that we've seen the worst of it yet. So I think that it'll definitely come back down further in a hard pullback scenario. We'll be back down into the $13 to $14 range, probably even lower. Would I buy it? Nope. Not when I have 1 inch that does price shopping, better interface and stuff like that. Priced at $2.50 right now, and I'm telling you that I'm already predicting down here into the $1.70, $1.75 range. I would be going if I was a DeFi investor and wanting to get into DeFi exchange type things, there's no question in my mind that I would be on this one before anything else. Wouldn't even look at anything else. Second in line behind this would probably be Sushi Swap, possibly Pancake. But I would throw most of my hopes and dreams on 1inch, just simply because you guys don't realize this. I mentioned it one time before. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But 1inch has been integrated into Nano Ledger as the swap, the de facto swap that's built into the Ledger Nano. Think how many Ledger Nano owners there are that don't even understand what the swap thing is all about. But the engine is powering the damn thing built right into their ledger. So they're, oh, I can swap coins in my ledger? I didn't know that. They don't have to understand what's going on behind. They don't have to understand how the gears turn. They just know that they turn, and they can use that. And so therefore that engine is being powered inside of the Ledger Nano to do these swaps for people, and they're using a product they didn't even realize they were using. That's going to have a profound effect on the price of this thing when things start to get serious. So consider that. Consider it heavily, because it's a good thing. So I do want to look at Reef, because Reef is going to be on my top shopping list. Top of my shopping list. I think I've been talking about this long enough. I've given the history long enough of what I see for this in the future. $3.36. Here we are at sub 2 cents at penny 8. And going lower, guys, going lower. So we definitely are showing the makings of a drop here, which will get us down here to this last marker, which will put us at about about a penny 6. And if you really want to get some hopium pumped up your skirt, you can go all the way down here, down into the penny range, and not beyond likelihood. If we get a good old-fashioned whooping, we could drop 42%. I'm not on board for that yet, but when I start to see it, I'll start to call it. But I do not doubt in the least little bit we can drop to the halfway point, down 17-18%, get us down to about a penny and a half, which is perfectly fine. Penny and a half is good enough. If you want to buy it at a penny and a half, it's well cheaper than the first time I bought it, when it rocketed up 90%. Again, that blue line was the first time I bought in, and it went up 90% after that. So we are way below that right now. So anything below this blue line is better than I ever did the first time. And even to buy it right now, which I'm not suggesting you should, would be a great price. But again, I see in the cards here that we're going lower. So penny and a half, half should be good enough if you guys just wanted to say, let's just get it done, get it bought. And then for that, you'll be rewarded with, in the future, the next 3 to 5 years, $3.36. And that is one hell of a return. Domain, can you do the math for us again? Give us the percent of return on that. So if we come in at a penny and a half and we go to $3.36, what's the rate of return for that? I mean, it's pretty damn good for crypto. I mean, we've got, after looking at these 100,000 APYs and 200,000 APYs on the Dow, it's starting to make everything else look pretty crappy. But I mean, as far as crypto goes, that's pretty damn impressive. Give us the rate of return on that, if you would, please, because it's been a while since we calculated that. So Dogecoin's just kind of gone into a sideways cycle. Hardly surprising. So for this year, I do see Doge going to $1, $1.25, but everything else will be too. So 3,000% plus. I think y'all should probably want to get in a little bit of Reef. You want a lottery ticket? There's a lottery ticket. Because remember, this is not Reef. It's Reef Finance. Never bet against the bankers. Now, Matic has kind of been, a few of you guys have been kind of swing trading Matic and making a little bit of money. Not the swings are not all that impressive lately, but if you can get it, it's good work if you can get it. But we are going to be coming down into the green here. That much is very clear. We've hit an M formation and then went flat, so we've kind of fallen. Where we should have come is out of that slight M formation and dropped immediately. We went sideways. I don't see an upward trend I see an upward trend here, but I don't see this thing continuing. So we've gone flat lines. So, when we get into, and I'm just speculating here, so this is not a call. This is just a hypothetical speculation or kind of a gut feeling, if you will. I believe probably going into the next week to 2 weeks, we're going to see possibly some sideways boredom, and then we're going to see just a drop all of a sudden, and that would be expected. But when we get into the month of February, I want you guys all buckled in. I want, if you're terrified, if you're in some of these positions, if you're in profit, here let's just cut it this way. If you're in profit in anything, and I do mean anything, with the exception of the Dow, consider heavily taking those profits. I cannot stress that enough. Don't hold out, if I can just get another fraction of a penny, take the damn profits. Because what we're going to be experiencing here pretty soon is going to crush this thing even lower. They will not go higher until they go lower. Fact. Because right now, if we were going to blast off, we would have blasted off. So we are in a holding pattern, a forced holding pattern, manipulated holding pattern, that just to check people, and they're going to give you a little bit of hope, and then they're going to take it away. They're going to take it away hard, and they're going to drop this thing to where it should have been clear back in October, November. And then from that, just whoosh, down and then whiplash, and then she's going to take off because now that we're in a new financial cycle going into the first quarter of the next year, money's getting moved around, and they're setting up the pins, and so it's going to happen here pretty quickly. So speaking about weird movements. Populace has gone to sleep. So I hope to God you guys have played this as I presented it to you. I mean, I still love the fact that I told you this was coming. I even showed you where it was going to, and they did it right, literally within the hour. I mean, that was that was definitely a good one. Even for me, that was definitely good. But you can see. Here we are, sleeping, boom, woke up. We're still getting the pump cycles, though. We're still getting them. So this one's a bit of a surprise. I told you that I didn't expect anything for a while. I don't know what that was. Let's check and see what kind of a pump that was. You got to be awake for these things when they go. Not bad, 15%. Now, I generally I don't. 15% is just, you'd have to have sold that right at the top of the market, and most of you guys can't do that because you don't have the ability to kind of set trade prices for this. But I would tell you that I would, this party isn't over yet by a damn sight. But I will tell you that I expect this thing to probably go down a little bit lower. I would still be watching for this thing to go sub-red down into this range here. I don't think I'd really want to get involved with this thing until it's firmly settled below red, somewhere down in this general range right here. So let me go ahead and highlight that. Somewhere down in this general range. Whoops, excuse me. Somewhere down this general range, right about in here. Anywhere in there is fine, because if you hold it, then you're just holding for the inevitable pump. Because it'll pump to here, and then to here, and then to here, and then to here, and then you just hold it for as long as you want. I wouldn't be looking for those quickie pumps, blasts anymore. I would be looking for a good buying opportunity to kind of hodl this till you get a real killer deal where you get 5x, 6x, 10x. 20x, because it's very possible with this coin. It's not going to be like this dog right here, where it just pumps in an hour and stuff like that. Could be, but I would generally buy. The next time I bought this, I would try to buy it down in this range right here and just hang on, because we're 60 to 90 days away from everything just going absolutely apeshit. So now's the time to take those deep dish buying opportunities, or deep dive buying opportunities when you can get them. And they're coming up very, very soon. When Populous hits, as weird as it is, it'll probably hit a couple times. It might spike, drop a couple times when everything else is just going. So it's all speculation at this point in time. We don't know, but nonetheless, I would still be grabbing myself a good amount. Now, some of you guys are not aware of this. You can buy this inside of Exodus. Exodus, you can swap for it inside of Exodus. If you just don't know where to find it, granted, you're going to pay an Exodus fee because it ain't cheap to swap in Exodus. But when you're looking at 200, 300, 400% later on when you go to sell, you can at least do that. If you're not able to trade it on a live exchange, you're going to have to be awake and alive when this thing spikes in order to sell it, unless you're watching for those larger 200, 300, 400, 500% runs, at which point in time you can just execute live and do that. But I wouldn't pass an opportunity to probably try and grab this between anywhere from 45 to 50 cents, because I think it's going to happen, and more if we get into a dive. But conservatively, I would be looking to get it between 45 and 50 cents and calling a deal and just waiting it out. So all this stuff. Now we haven't talked about Telcoin. This is a Red Bear favorite also. He's in this. I'm not. And it's going sideways. There's really nothing to say. I think pretty much this screen pretty much tells you what the narrative is. We're waiting for our next move down, potentially down even lower. And that's the same as we can say pretty much for the entire internet. He's a big believer in Telcoin. He has a lot to say about it. He did a deep dive on that, so check that out in our other videos. If you haven't seen the Telcoin video that Red Bear did, he'll break it down for you and tell you why it's so cool and why you got to have it. Got some good people behind the project, evidently, and some movers and shakers that believe in it. So might be a good one to grab, especially since it's a penny. Just imagine somebody. And again, I'm gonna kind of use my particular portfolio. If I'm pulling 5 figures a day out of the Dow, how hard is it for me to go buy 5 figures worth of this thing and just throw it on the shelf? I mean, it's free, baby. I can pull off today's profit and buy myself 5 figures worth of this, set it aside. Tomorrow buy some reef, tomorrow buy some debt, tomorrow. Just imagine that. Just imagine what I'm setting myself up for. Imagine what you guys are setting yourself up for if you're kind of copying my homework. So back to this. If you guys are just tuning in or just new, my name is Red Baron. I'm from the unfairadvantage.chat. If you like what you're hearing and you want to be a part, definitely join us, because we'd love to show you how to get into the Dow. And we do have our own server that we're going to have specifically for the Dow project that we are going to be monitoring. And I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on how to exit, how to re-enter, how to profit, really maximize this. We're going to talk tax strategies. A lot of you guys are highly concerned about the tax strategies and tax implications of owning something that kicks out this much money this often. So it's not something you don't be afraid of profit. Don't be scared of profit. If you got to pay taxes on money, wouldn't you rather pay taxes on something that you didn't ever work for? I mean, it's amazing to me that the number of people that will literally sidestep profit for fear of having to pay taxes on it. I mean, gotta get your head right, guys. That's part of the game. You're going to get taxed on the money you make, but we're here to show you how to minimize the damage that's done by that using LLCs and trusts and whatnot. One point on this I do want to make while I'm on that is a lot of you guys are not understanding how the IRS works, and so this is today's story. I want to kind of divert from the coins a little bit here, and I want to talk about this because now that we are in a new year, it's probably time that you understand this. And I've mentioned this before, but it needs to be re-mentioned. I will talk about Crow here next as soon as I get done with this. When you trade one coin for another, I'm here to tell you straight from the horse's mouth, that is not a taxable event. If you trade Bitcoin for a stable coin, that is not, never has been, and never will be a taxable event unless you make it one. What do I mean by that? So let me give you a history, why I say what I say, because I'm not just blowing smoke. I know exactly what I'm talking about because I hire the enemy to work for me. My tax guy is a former IRS agent, and a good one. And so when it comes from a former IRS agent who is now working for the good guys, you can best believe you're getting the truth. And I'm giving you the truth. So no matter what you hear anywhere else, I'm telling you, this comes from a upper level manager at the IRS that worked there for 35 years as an agent, as a collecting agent. It is not a taxable event. Why is that? Well, can you go to the grocery store and pay for your groceries with Telcoin? Can you do it with Bitcoin? Can you do it with XRP? Can you do it with a stable coin? No, no, no. That is not tender. That is not legal tender in the U.S. or anywhere else in this world. Insofar as we're not talking about Puerto Rico or whatever, Bitcoin is fast becoming another thing. But let's leave that out of the conversation because I'm pretty sure none of you guys are in Puerto Rico. If you have any of these cryptos and you trade them from one for another, that is not a taxable event. What we're using is what's called FIFO, first in, first out. If you put $100,000 into crypto and you pull out $100,000, is that a taxable event? No, sir, it is not. You zeroed out. If you put in $100,000 and you pull out $90,000, is that a taxable event? No. You have a $10,000 more you can pull out before you start to create a taxable event. If you put in $10,000 and you pull out $10,001, you pay tax on that $1. That's how the real works. If anyone tells you differently, then they're telling you crap. And so, well, why is the IRS putting out all this stuff? Because this is a game, guys. They want, first of all, we all know what the IRS, I'm not going to get on my soapbox and talk about how the government's, screwing us all over with an illegal tax. I think we all know where we're at with that. But, we still have within that the rules to play by. And so they have an arm, a PR arm, that goes out there and causes chaos and uncertainty. They have their own version of FUD. Get them all stirred up. You got to be afraid of the tax man. Oh my God, I don't want to, short the tax man because I don't want to get audited. And, every once in a while they'll roll it out how Wesley Snipes got, all his shit got taken because he didn't pay his taxes. And, there's all these tax horror stories. Do you think that stuff comes out for good entertainment or just to scare the troops? So you can be a good little citizen, pay your taxes. Don't short Uncle Sam because he'll come get you. And so the truth of the matter is that there is a PR arm of the IRS that goes out there and seeds the public consciousness to get you guys all scared of the big bad tax boogeyman because you don't want to. Case in point, why in the hell? All you guys are fairly. My listeners are a pretty diverse group. I've got some billionaires in here. I've got some people that are McDonald's people. I like to joke and call you McDonald's people, but you know what I'm talking about. Basically just kind of making it through their day. We've got all levels of people. But if you talk to a wealthy person, they will look at you like, hey, I got an IRS, I get my tax return back, I get some money back from the government. You fool. You fool. You should never loan money to someone who's giving you 0% interest on your money. What in the hell are you doing? You should never, ever have a tax return. Ever. You should owe them, they shouldn't owe you, and you should owe them as little as possible. And you use the rules that they set forth to do that. So basically, if you are getting a tax return, it's because you are exactly in that group of people that are goaded into thinking, well, we better not claim too much and just let it. They can tell us how much we get back of the money we give them. We'll trust you. We'll trust you. You got the wrong tag. If you're going to H&R Block, let me divert a little bit. If you guys are going to H&R Block or one of these little mini mall tax preparers, knock that shit off. Knock that shit off. Bluntly, I'm gonna speak adult language here. Knock that shit off. Those guys are 80 years old. I go into H&R Block, and I don't think anybody under there is under the age of 65 that works, and they do not understand crypto. They have a rule book, and let's So you're gonna hear my insight as someone who's very well connected with billionaires. Let's talk about this while I'm kind of on this thread. If you go in there, let's understand the players at play here. So you go into H&R Block, who is a franchise. Okay, what's the mission there? The mission is to make money. They're not there because they want to help you get the most out of your dollars or whatever. You're just a number and a product to them. You're in, out, gone. They hire retired, 1 foot in the grave people, and I'm not being funny, it's the truth. And most of those people that work in there are 65 years old. They're bookkeepers. I mean, if you've ever been to an H&R Block, unless you've been to the business section of H&R Block, you'll find that I'm very right about it. Very few people under 50 years old work at H&R Block. And so you go in there, and what do? Okay, tell me how much. They click it, and they're entering. It's kind of like when you go into like AutoZone to buy windshield wipers or something like that. They ask you, what kind of car are you driving, how many doors it is. They're not going to get out there and look into the facts and find you the proper wipers or part for your car. They're going to plug you into a machine, and they're going to figure out, how do you fit this thing wrote by the corporation to fit you into the thing, and what's your name, what's your rank, what's your serial number, where do you work at, how much you do this. And plug, click, and they kick out a form. You you sign it, and off to the races you go. And it looks like you get this much back from Uncle Sam. Nobody is trying to figure out, anything deeper than just clicking a couple of buttons for a set fee, and then you're in, you're out, you're gone. That is not how you do your taxes when you're a millionaire. It's not. You get a tax planner. There's multiple people that you need to have, and we're going to talk about that a lot this year, because I'm about to make a lot of millionaires up in this group, a lot of you, and you're all going to be standing there holding 7 figures going, what the fuck? And because if you don't know how to handle this, you're going to lose it real fast, because what you need to have is you need to have a bookkeeper, you need to have a tax planner. Is that a tax guy? No. You need to have an accountant, a bookkeeper. Those are not the same people. If you meet someone that says I'm a bookkeeper / accountant, keep stepping, because you got the wrong guy. You need to have a bookkeeper, which is basically the guy or girl. I have a little gal in the Philippines that does stuff for me. And basically, I throw all the stuff that I buy, all my receipts and stuff, my gas, we've talked about this in other live streams. All the stuff that I'm out spending money on, I'm claiming as a write-off. I give it to her. She puts it in the proper thing. She creates a book. She's a bookkeeper. I hand that to my tax planner. Who is a tax planner? Jonathan is my tax planner. He's in Portion Club North America with me. I'm trying to get him on the crypto cruise with me. We'll see. It's kind of Super Bowl Sunday for him. But he looks at it and he goes, well, man, you're not spending enough money here, enough money there, whatever. That is not a tax guy. That is a tax strategist. That's what Jonathan does. And so Jonathan is my tax strategist. He looks and he goes, man, I've joked with a couple of my moderators. I've got a garage full of the most beautiful DeWalt tools you can possibly imagine. I look like a DeWalt showroom last year because I had to find some money to spend. I had to spend some money for depreciation. So I bought tools, a lot of them. My garage is black and yellow. I'm not joking. I've got a lot of brand new 20-volt DeWalt tools, and I like it. It's my happy place in my garage. So, but I did that not because of vanity, not because that I needed to. Gotta have some write-offs so I can depreciate those tools. And you can do the same thing for whatever business or other side businesses you're doing. So, but I regret, or I step back in what I'm saying here, because you basically, you're going to have a tax strategist, you're going to have a bookkeeper, a tax strategist, and then you're going to have an accountant. Now, an accountant is basically going to go through and he's going to verify what the bookkeeper says and what the tax strategist has told you, and he's going to say, okay, now he's the guy that's going to say, according to the law, this is what you can get by with. And so we'll call him the referee in this scenario. So, your quarterback is your tax strategist. Your people on the back line, that's your bookkeeper. And you're out there just making a mess for everybody else, so it's not your problem. So that's what you pay experts for. And so you've got those 3 people. Now, if you take those 3 people and then you submit, you should end up with, and of course your lawyer also. Your lawyer is not part of your tax thing. The only time the lawyer has anything to do with it is when you're setting up a corporation. What type of corporation are you going to set up? You're going to set up an LLC, a partnership, an S corp, a C corp, whatever. This is not where we're going to go with this conversation, but we'll just say LLC for this. So your tax guy, your accountant, and your lawyer come together in the same room, because they like to bounce you back and forth. But you generally, when you set up your corporation, whatever that is, you want to have both those guys in the same room when you set it up. You don't want to be the middleman passing conversations. You want them in the same room when you talk about setting up whatever it is to help yourself. And once he bows out, so he's number 4 if he's not in there. So when tax time comes around, as it always does, and it's time to pay taxes, we're not discussing the fact that you took Bitcoin and you traded it into Tether and whatever. Now, you can do this. Let me put a pin in that and come backwards. So what if you did this the wrong way? So here's one of those things where they're kind of freaking you out. And the IRS is like, have you traded any crypto this year? Oh my God, they know. Coinbase is gonna narc on me and whatever. Yeah, Coinbase will narc on you. No, make no mistake about it. They're gonna turn all your shit into the IRS. The IRS knows what you're trading, but the IRS knows what it can and cannot do. It knows that Bitcoin is not a currency. It knows that XRP is not a currency, or any of these other ones that we're talking about. But if you think it is and you pay taxes, they're not going to stop you. If somebody wants to walk up to you on the street and hand you $1,000, you go, no, I couldn't possibly take that. You're going to take it. You're not going to ask any questions. So this is how the government works. They're devious, they're evil, and they do not have your best interest in mind. And you must understand this. So if you understand what you must do and do only that, then you're not going to end up paying ungodly amounts more taxes than you need to. But if you're going to H&R Block and you're going to these guys who are rookies in the tax game, you're going to pay those taxes. They're going to plug you in. They're going to make you pay taxes. And you're going to hand them every single trade you did this year. And let's be honest, a lot of you have done hundreds of them. I have. And I would never want to pay taxes. I mean, and you hear all these other things like Elizabeth Warren talking about it. This is what they do. You know, they say, well, you should pay taxes on theoretical profits. Oh, bullshit. You know, just the nonsense that they cloud the public consciousness with. I mean, that's not a law. It's never going to be a law. That's 3 steps removed from a law. So I want to bring this up because I feel this is a good way to start this year, is to talk about this, because FIFO, first in, first out. Keep it simple. I've advised many of my diamonds on this, and I don't use the word advise, but I've talked to many of my diamonds about this. And, you know, if you do it any other way, guys, and once you open up the gates and do it, you got to keep doing it. That's another thing, too. So be damn careful. Once you do, if you go outside of FIFO and you do it with every trade, well, you've set a precedence, and you don't want to do that. So be very careful. Okay, so we're going to bring this in again a couple more times. We're going to talk about this. And again, if we can get this thing put together on the crypto cruise coming up here in April, we're going to be meeting down in Miami, Florida, or the parts thereabouts, Daytona, somewhere. We'll figure it out. We're still working that out. We will have tax planners. We will have financial strategists. We will have corporate entity structuring professionals there, and it will be the best time and the best money that you ever spent investing in your future. So anyway, let's get back to business here, and I just want to kind of let you guys know that's my little rant for today, and you definitely need to take that to heart, because it can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars you don't need to be spending. All right, so again, you know, I really wish there was more I could say on Solana. Let's go out on a one day here. Solana has always been the powerhouse. It just goes up and up and up and up and up and up and up. But, you know, here we are leveling off. So what's doing? I mean, that's a hell of a ledge right there. Now this is a bullish formation. If you just look at this, and I'm on the one day here. This is a hugely bullish formation. Conservatively, if we were to go from pit to point right here, let's make that green just because it's a very green scenario. We were to take that, we were to put it basically right there. I personally, I believe we could go even higher. You know, I'm assuming we're not going to get another output, but my gut feeling is I believe we would probably be hitting that number here easily right there. But if I want to go a little bit further and just make this whole thing a run, which is a little optimistic, granted, and put that. If you're wondering why this changes length, it's because I'm using a logarithmic scale, which is like, it's slightly different. Yeah, I think we're close enough that I think we could probably basically say that's about where we would be. Now at the 50% point on that puts it at all-time high right there. So I do believe that Solana, I'm not suggesting that it's going to do better in face of everything else. I think that we can swing the other direction just as easy and go down to this line down here, or down here, because we do have a little bit of support and resistance. So if we were to go the other direction and go, you know, probably down to here, that's possible more than anything. However, Solana, never bet against Solana. I'm telling you what, this thing's a monster. When it comes to resisting downturns and stuff like that, you guys have probably been watching this for a while. This is one of those coins that you probably want to buy a lot of when it's on sale. So I'll just speculate for you here. If we do get into a drop, I'm not going to be surprised to see it at about 100 to 110. That would be logically about where I would expect it to go. In a huge drop of everything else, and we're talking by that I mean 35-40%, something like that, Solana would probably pull back down to this AI right here, which would put you about $65. But I really think the sweet spot where I kind of lose faith that it will go much lower would probably be those dual AIs right there. And in that case, that would put you about the 100 to 110. I think I would be scooping that up with both hands. In fact, I would definitely be using some of my Dow money on this. Probably would be right in that top 5 things. that I would probably be doing because it's just such a solid project, and I do see it going up to a $1,200 range in the semi-distant future. We've seen how well it's performed through all the downturns of the market. It just shrugs it off like ain't no thing. You want that in your portfolio. You want a strong performer, and this is, if I remember correctly, a layer 1-2 solution. If I remember right, my memory's getting foggy. It's been a while since that interview with Red Bear, but a very needed coin in the infrastructure, and that's something that you always got to be looking at. What is use case? So the theme for 2022, guys, is not crap coins. It's use case, because we're there. I probably should start talking about that. There was a lot of hopium in these Doge coins and Shiba coins, and it's time to stop with that stuff, guys. And if I have to kind of put my foot down and just tell you, it's always fun to play with that stuff, but going forward here, the real stuff's about ready to start. The real party, the real cryptocurrency switchover. The gears are starting to turn with the major things like Matic, like Solana, like XRP, like XLM. All these things are going to come into their own starting this year. It's time to get and party with the big boys. So I've got you now lined up with something with this DAO that can spit off the money to buy this. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. This is the way you do it. Get into the DAO. Sacrifice, in my opinion, not financial advice, sacrifice a little of these coins. Let go of them, because I assure you, I'm far more vested in this DAO than you will ever likely possibly be. Most of you guys will, 99.9% of you guys will never put even a tenth of what I've got into this. And this thing, I believe so heavily that I've gone 7 figures into this thing now as of today. And so it's kicking out ridiculous amounts of money. If that ever changes, I'll let you know. It's time to get out of the pool. But right now, it's time to sacrifice all these dogs, literally, these dogs that you're invested in. It's time to get rid of all this shitcoin that you're just so enamored with, like Digibyte, blah, 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 because they're not doing squat. If you just got to have it, then put it into the DAO, let it grow a little bit, buy it back with DAO profits. Then you got 2 things. You got a shitcoin still not doing anything, and you got a DAO. But you can also take the DAO money and you can buy these things that are going to get beat down over the next 60 days. The compounding, just do the math really quickly. How many times will, if I'm predicting that a blast off or something's going to happen by the end of February, I'm not going to say blast off. If I'm expecting something is going to happen that's going to shove everything else's price down, meanwhile we're compounding 3 times a day. Take 3 times 60. Give me a total. That's how many times it's going to compound and multiply interest in the next 60 days. Can you say that about any coin you have in your portfolio? So if it's going to do this, somebody give me that number. 2 months times 3. So how many days? 60 days times, take 60 times 3. That's how many times it's going to compound and rebase and compound on top of compounding. That's a lot of money, folks. That's a lot of money. That's 500. That's a 5x return is basically what that is, give or take. And so to be able to hold a coin that'll do that, spin off profit, give you back 100% of your money, and give you some stuff that'll be able to invest in all these other coins, that's the winning play right now, as I see it. And that's the play that I'm doing right now. So to be able to get into some of these coins like Solana and stuff like that, you'll just be able to buy them free. Free. Is there anything better than free? Now, as I said before, I expected a little bit of a drop here, so I'm going to kind of negate this and set this aside for right now. I do still expect it, but so we've seen this also in XLM. So where should this go? I'm just going to speculate. This is not a call. This is not necessarily anything other than just speculation based on human nature and what I see coming. Super Bowl's coming. We will see Crypto.com advertisement during the Super Bowl. So this might be a good month to be in Crypto.com. If you're looking at a 57-cent coin currently, right now, the price right now is 50, just a hair under 60 cents. Should you buy it? Looking at this statically, what it is exhibiting is a rounded bottom, same as XLM, which is good. That's a bullish thing. What we should have come out of is we should have come out of this, and we should have gone down. We should have plummeted right down here, somewhere generally in this area is where we should have gone. Didn't happen. Came out of this, dropped down in here into a rounded bottom. That's not a cup and handle, but rounded bottoms generally indicate something's about to go up. Okay, so that's the technicals. what about the real world? What's going on in the real world? Well, we got Super Bowl coming up here in a couple of weeks, and so if the hype going into so we just you guys know that I just came out of Vegas here back in November, the early part of November. We just did a thing, and crypto.com was everywhere. It was on the side of casinos. They had this massive thing that caused this big run up was this last advertising deal they did. And I said, once this is over, it's going to lose steam. Well, guess what happened? It lost steam. Now, we might get a second pump because they're going to throw more advertising at the Super Bowl. And, will it be like this? I don't know. I can't speculate. I don't know. I would be able to be a little bit more sure if I could see the dollars that they spent on this and I seen the dollars they're about to spend on the Super Bowl and compare one for one. I could say, well, ergo, we probably should expect to get up here or something like that. I will simply tell you this. We have a couple of things that we can plug TA into. So here we are sitting here at a flat line. Let me get my chalk out here. So we've come down. We basically rounded bottom. We're basically at a somewhat flat line point. So if we were to assume that they're going to do a Super Bowl ad here in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, on in the future, it's possible that the hype has not started yet. However, I have a feeling it's probably going to go sideways like the rest of the stuff for a while, and then the Super Bowl ad will kick in, and then up she goes again. So my gut feeling is I think this might be a possible swing trade. Is it the one and only hodl price? Probably not. But I think there's money to be made. So we have some certain resistances that have to be considered. We have some very strong resistance rate, not very strong, but strong-ish resistance right here. We're looking at, let's see here. So to go from here to here, not that great. Not that great. 7.5%. If we went from here to here, all-time high, 18%. Not bad. I'd get out of bed for that. So we have some speculation to do. What we would do is we'd say, all right, well, will the advertising take it from here to here? It can do that on its own. Advertising should theoretically push it higher. So maybe here's your next resistance right there. So if we get up to about right here, now we're looking at 11 to 12%. Modestly decent. By the time we get up there, ISIS will have retraced and brought some lines up here. So the way to play this, the only way that I would play this, is if I felt like I was going to play let's see if the Super Bowl makes this thing go skyrocketing, which it probably will temporarily. I would buy this, and I would be chasing this thing up. Once this thing gets up about 2-3 AI lines, I'd be right underneath those AI lines, just putting in stop losses. Just chase it up with stop losses until it eventually turns, and it will turn and drop. So just chase it till it takes it away from you. So chase it up there for a little bit, get underneath it, slightly underneath an AI line, put a marker, let it go higher, get underneath it, just keep chasing it up line by line by line, and when it finally turns and dives, cha-ching, you're out. And that's the way you play that. And I make it sound very simple, but it can be rather attention intensive to a point. But would I do this? Not with major trade money. No. If I had some side money I wanted to do, and again, I'm talking about a decent amount of money to make it worth your time. I'm talking $10,000 or better. Would I do this with 5,000? Probably not, because the return's not that great. The fees will chew you up. But if you've got 10,000, that's not your major bag. In other words, you got rich people problems. If you got a good amount, and this represents maybe 2 or 3 4 or 5% of your portfolio, something you just want to just do some reckless gambling just because it's the first of the year, you got to do something stupid already. Try it. I wouldn't dissuade you from that. I don't think it's a bad play. However, we always have to ask ourselves a question: what if this thing goes down? Did I just buy an overpriced turd? No, you're fine. If this thing goes down and you bought it at 57, 58 cents right now, and we do get the plummeting in price across the board that I expect, just wait it out. She'll turn around. It'll be fine. You're just gonna have to put it on the back burner and wait till it's profitable, and then sell it. So it's one of those things, kind of like how I got into XYO. It's like I bought it thinking, well, I'll buy it if it goes up. If it doesn't, I'll just hang on to it. And it went down, so I'm hanging on to it. So I did sell out a lot of it. I did kind of a neat little maneuver some of you guys were privy to. I know Grumpy was one of them that was watching. He's like, that was brilliant how you got out of that. I'm like, well, you learn a thing or three when you operate on my level. But to keep this simple, though, just basically buy it and ask yourself, and just am do you feel lucky? Do you feel lucky that it'll go up? I think the odds are probably pretty good in our favor that it'll go up with advertising and stuff like that. How much, that remains to be seen. So I'm trying to find you something to play with here while the bigger picture gets itself put together. So it is what it is. But there's some possibility you might be able to pick up as much as 15% on that. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll do. I got to check in with this thing. I really, honestly, guys, I've spoke my piece about this. You can see. Try and guess what I think about this. This thing is a ridiculous disappointment for the people that believed in it, and I don't. I never did. I know you can stake it. I know you can make some returns and stuff like that on it, but this thing was put out by some well-known psychics, by a well-known psychic as being like the one. Ain't looking like the one to me. This is not the one. I'm here to tell you that much right now. There's nothing in the works that makes this thing push even higher. It's not going to just out of the blue just all of a sudden blast off. It's going to go much lower than it is right now. So this is one of those coins where, should I be holding this thing because, Psychic A says that this is going to do whatever. Well, Psychic B, as in Baron, is telling you that the Dow is doing it right now. So think about that. So Quant is an ISO coin, a very, very important ISO coin. I brought this to y'all's attention back when it was 14, 15 bucks, and here we are. $183, $184. So she's going sideways. This thing is maintaining a very, very sleepy pattern. So look at all the patterns that we've covered in live stream so far. None of them exhibit the strength that this thing does. Is this strength? Well, it's not going up. No, but it's not going down either. This thing it came down. Now let's zoom out here so I can speak a little bit more broadly on this. All right. So let's look at that. So I brought this to you guys when it was down here, and I said, you're going to want to get this. And then up she went, just all of a sudden. And I said, it's not going to hold ground, and down she started to come through the levels. And now we're down. We've hit ground. Now, could we go lower? Looking at this on the 1 day, currently what this is exhibiting, let me get my chalk here. What this is exhibiting is what could be, oops, that's not, there we go, that's what I want. What could be best described as something like that. I'm being very approximate here, but something that could possibly come down. Let's just go ahead. Oops. Hang on just a second here. Let me get rid of this. All right. Something that basically could pretty much come down to right there, possibly, but I don't think so. It could come down halfway to right there. Very possible. Very possible. But when I look at that on the 15-minute, what I see is what looks more like a sleeper. Usually I like to identify sleepers. Let's go back and reinvestigate that one more time. I like to look at sleepers on the 15 because I can kind of spot them. And boy, if that don't look like a sleeper, I don't know what does. Snooze, snooze. There's your hiccup. Little sooner than I like to see it. Sleep, sleep, sleep. To me, it looks like it's ready to do something. Now, the question is when is the rest of the market going to do something? No, I do not have an exit plan on Reef. We're not even remotely close to it. $3.36, and we're only at a penny right now. Penny and a half. So no reason to get off a Reef. If you own Reef, buckle up. You're on for a 5-year ride, probably 3 to 5 year ride. So back to this. If I'm to believe that this is probably going to have a little bit of a bump, it probably won't go any higher than that. So I'm not going to worry about that. If the rest of the market's going to kind of tank a little bit, and I think that it will, I would be hoping or prospecting it, the idea of maybe grabbing it somewhere in this general area of about, well, let's call it conservatively about $150. Let's just call it $150. So if you could get a $150 quant, I would be buying it hugely, because look what happened just one time. I mean, you haven't seen the end of this. Quant is, I can tell you, probably, I have my speculation why this did this. There was a well-known YouTuber that came out around about the same time that I was kind of feeling it right here, and he endorsed it, and I think that might have drove it a little bit. There might have been a couple of YouTubers that probably copycatted and whatever, but be that as it may, it's got sound fundamentals on it, and Quant is definitely going to be a good one. So if you can get it in Quant at $150, I would just say call it good and get it. Just absolutely get it. And again, same for Algorand. Again, another ISO coin. Right now, basically, we're just kind of waiting for that white line at about $1.10. Not much to say on that. And here's another one. Layer 1, Layer 2. Loop ring. Loop ring. Same deal. I mean, it's just boring, guys. Just boring. So, again, I did a little call here for where I thought we'd be coming down to. Ping, we hit that. So I can go ahead and get all that garbage out of there now. We're probably going to be going even lower on this one too. So just a lot of this is basically what this is going to be is me checking back with you on a later live stream to kind of start calling specifically. I do want to look at a couple things such as ETN and Engine and let's go ahead and take a look at Sand and Gala so Sand and Gala. Let's start with that. Sand and Gala are related to the metaverse. And I find it rather interesting that we're not seeing any action with Gala and Sand. And if you remember the last, I don't know if it was a VIP or public live stream that I did. I believe it was my Christmas special. I believe that we are going to see here soon probably some expressed interest in like the big pump that we saw with both of these when they rolled out the idea of the metaverse. Well, to go back and recap my points with that. CES is coming, and the metaverse is going to be all the talk of the consumer electronics thing in Vegas here coming up. When people finally get to touch this stuff and experience it, they're going to go, "Oh my God, this is a great thing associated with this," and it's going to be Sand, and it's going to be Gala, and it's going to be this, that, and the other thing, and anything that even smells like metaverse is going to go through the goddamn roof in the next week or two. And so has to. That's just the way people are. They're fickle. And so it surprises me that this has not started to get that pre-hype yet. But mark my words, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. So even if I'm wrong and you bought it right now, eventually it'll do well. I don't like to buy those ones that sit for a long time. But I would tell you, I would not have too much of a problem with somebody probably throwing a little speculation at Sand or a Gala at current prices. One of the very few that I would probably say I would speculate on right now, based upon my experience with the electronics companies. So Engine is another one of those. It's kind of forming a cup and a handle. So we've already got a price. You can see where we're going. So it tracks very, very well. So this was put here long before this forum. So let's see if this thing shapes up to match what it should do. So if we take that and we assume that that's going to cup and handles rims right there, that's going to put you right there. So that, okay. So if we want to go for right there, so the 50% mark is right about there. So I think I'd probably play that to there if you wanted to get in on Engine. Engine might do a little something for you. Not huge. 20%. That's the first 20% we found on live stream so far. So possibility you could see 20% or 10% if it goes to 50% of that. But this mark here is 50% of the overall Anubis calls. So there's a possibility of some money to be made on Engine. Now, Engine, again, to be clear on this, Veronica does like this coin. She called it a shiny coin. So she said that this has good potential in the future. So ETN, this is one of those Africa coins we talked about. Woo, just getting hammered. So, party ain't over yet. It's still going to the bottom. This is probably the most clear indicator of a downstroke I've seen since we've been looking at charts here today. And that's where she's going, right there. So don't think I'd be invested in this right now, but I would be looking at it at 0.007. Let's go ahead and put a marker in here because it's a lot of stuff to have to do. So probably around about, let's go ahead and round that up. I'd probably be looking at it around about that price right there, and not unless and until it hits that. I wouldn't be buying it, currently or at half. I mean, anything getting that aggressive of a push down, you better buy it way at the bottom, or otherwise don't bother. These microfraction coins can get beat up really, really bad. So, all right. Well, let me go back through the troops here one more time. Make sure I got everything I wanted to talk about here. I think we wanted to cover sushi real quick. Let's take a look at that. So sushi again, that vol son of a bitch. I told you this thing, man. When it goes down, if you guys remember how when we were here, I told you that this thing just has a habit. If search your memory and remember what I told you, when this thing goes down and goes flat, I said I'm not going to be surprised that this thing is going to be the bottom right here, and it's going to start going up. Well, there you go. Sushi does not disappoint. When it comes, it's very clear in its intentions. When it goes huge slide down, goes flat, rockets back up. It just goes down, it troughs, it goes up. It's predictable as the day following night. And so currently it looks like it's on its way up. Why? I don't know. But there's always supermarket specials, everything else is going to hell. There's always one or two that are going up, and guess what? This is your boy right here. So currently don't chase balloons. This thing's already done a 100x, or I'm sorry, a 100% return. Not too shabby. So, if you were listening to me, maybe you got in on that. I wasn't necessarily screaming buy it, but I was insinuating I saw the likelihood of that happening. So, but again, I'm just kind of demonstrating to you how these things work. Ta-da. 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 So I think we hit that one. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it on that. All right, so basically, if you guys are new to live stream, or if you just haven't done it, join us at the unfairadvantage.chat. My name is Red Baron. Glad to have you on live stream. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, drag them back here, because we got to get you guys fixed. So until next time, thank you very much for joining me. Be safe, be good, and be good at it. Peace and hair grease for the new year, guys.